So here I'm glad I did because
Here we are.
with my
It's not
sparkle
quite the
pants,
news. We'll have 7 or 8 people to watch
yep.
this on social media.
7 or 8 people. Yikes. So this is me being prepared for just in case. I can't pass up sparkle pants.
No, we gotta have sparkle pants, and I like the chucks too. Those are good. All right, are we ready to roll? All right, so super casual. What? Much to Alyssa's chagrin, what we do is we just talk, and we load up a huge video, and then she'll go through
edit
and
all
find
of the
the couple of gold pieces,
The snippets.
and that way we don't have to worry about. It's
Yeah.
not like live television.
Oh yeah.
Which is
that's
the
a
worst.
lot.
The worst. Okay. All right. So it is. What are we at? We're April 13th.
14th.
14th. Tomorrow's tax day, and so we're here in DeWitt, Michigan, and I am
Margo.
Rees.
yeah.
God, I was like blanking
That's okay.
out. I'm like Margo.
Margo Rees. Yeah.
So, yeah, we're in DeWitt. We're in DeWitt here with Margo, Margo Rees, and Margo has been around forever, almost as long as I have. Few years short of me.
2001.
2001.
I became a barista.
Yes, you became a barista, and I became a barista in 1996. So I got 5 years on you.
Wow.
And anyway, so we're here, and we just want to catch up. One of the things that we try to do is we're trying to build a content library with long tenured franchise owners, successful franchise owners, to build up a library for either prospects or people that are new in the system, that we can just have a series of, like, who knows how many, 10, 15, 20 videos that they can go and watch and just get advice-ish, you know. Okay, so just tell us a little bit about your history. You've been, like you said, 2001.
I've been in every position that's offered. So barista, shift leader, store leader, district manager, franchise owner, all of the things.
And plus all that goes into being a franchise owner, I presume, right?
Yes.
Like the books and the money and the marketing. You don't do the architectural though.
My husband does. So that's all in-house too.
Yep.
So, and then my dad was a licensed contractor, so that started with mom and dad.
Yep.
And mom had a dream of owning a coffee shop, and
What store did you start in?
So I was a
barista.
I was a barista at Store 125 in DeWitt, right?
Yeah, okay.
But I helped. It was my summer job, and I helped mom and dad open Store 5 off Elmwood. I painted all those ceiling tiles.
Yeah.
That was a long. That was back when the ceiling tiles were maroon, and they started white. So I did a lot of painting of the ceiling tiles. Mary Roselle helped us open that store.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a trained barista at that point, but I did help open that store. So that was about 99, 2000, and then DeWitt store opened in 2001.
I think our third franchise to open.
Mom was store 5, and I don't know who was before her.
It would have been Seth
Yep.
Berg and Nancy
There was a
Davis.
couple. There was a couple.
In Okemos, Nancy and Tom Davis,
Maybe.
and then Seth Berg, and he had a partner,
Yeah.
Jeff something or other, Hillman, Jeff Hillman. Anyway, so that was the 5th store in the program, and I don't know if you know this piece of history, and if your mom sees this, she'll probably disagree with it. But how I remember,
You disagree with something of my mom? That's so weird.
we have a very significant love-hate relationship.
Oh yeah, you're both very opinionated people.
Well,
It's okay.
so
You're passionate.
she came to us about opening a store in this location right
Yes.
here.
Oh,
And we said no.
I
And
remember.
then I presented the opportunity over on Elmwood.
yes.
And that was a no. Primarily your dad is a no, though, I think.
Oh, because it was too much work to.
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm not
'Cause
sure.
It was a car wash,
It was
and so it was going to be a lot of work to.
all right, convert it. So it was like, and then I think it was about a month or two went by, maybe not that long, I don't know. And then your mom called me back and was like, I think we want to do the one on Elmwood, right?
She still is persistent.
Oh,
Just so we know, just so we're
kind of a
clear.
family trait. Well, so and then the deal we cut was because we didn't, I hate to say this out loud because it's been, 20 years in this location?
20.
We didn't believe in this location at that point. And so then the deal we cut was do a second, and then if you still believe after opening the first store in Elmwood that you can
Get a little more leeway and
do
open
this
up.
one, then we'll do it. And here we are.
24 years later.
24 years later. It's amazing. And a huge reno. Talk
Yes.
through this reno. Well, give me the
Yes.
like,
So, Mom,
because you don't see renos like this very often.
no, and really, this is not a knock on corporate, but there was no guidance to do it because there hasn't been a lot of people that are like, oh, we did it this way. Oh, you're supposed to do it that way. This kind of renovation hasn't necessarily happened before. If it has, then
Not like this.
It wasn't.
Not that I know
accessible. Of. Right. So, Mom.
Oh, you know who did? Diane Parker in Taylor did a reno and added a drive-through. I mean, it wasn't this elaborate of a
Yeah.
reno, but it was pretty
I
significant.
did actually hear later, like, why don't you talk to this person about it? But
Yeah.
I don't know her very well, and
She's very nice.
that's great. So great. So, long story short, Mom was here for a long time, and then very appropriately was ready to retire. So, well-deserved retirement. She handed off the store two to Paula and two to me, and I got the DeWitt one and the St. John's one, and it was.
She didn't hand them off. You bought them.
That's for another.
Well, I did. That's. I mean,
Yes.
we won't go public with that, but like,
essentially, there's.
you guys bought them.
Yes, essentially. So it wasn't offered. It wasn't on the market. It wasn't
Right.
offered to anybody.
You guys
else.
put a deal together.
Correct.
That's how it goes anyway,
Yes.
by the way.
So when it was happening, it was due for an upgrade. Mom had actually already put it in motion to put a drive-through in here because that was becoming very popular. We already had some other drive-through stores that were evident that.
Killing it.
Yep, people wanted drive-throughs. We needed drive-throughs, and this was not outdated, but it needed updating. And
It was 20 years old.
and we have very.
Where's the
very
Panther?
Loyal behind you.
No, you had a big one. Didn't you have a big Panther at one point?
I
bet
don't
somebody
remember,
stole it.
but
I bet somebody stole it.
or it broke,
Broke.
or it's in Mom's basement.
I'll stop interrupting. Okay, so
That's okay.
so
But so Mom had already put in the motion of getting a drive-through, so putting some stuff into Township, and then COVID hit and blew everything up and kind of delayed everything. Well, we visualized a drive-through on the side of the building here because there's enough space between this building and that building in order to do it. So we had everything drawn up, and Township didn't want one thing, my landlord wanted another. Nothing meshed. And so after getting no's and getting that's not going to work, I ended up paying an engineer, a civil engineer, and traffic counts and all of the things. We crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's, and the engineer said he doesn't approve it. And I went specifically right out. I remember being right out in the car, being on the phone with the engineer, and we got the email that said he didn't approve it, and I was like, listen, I get it. You're supposed to do your job, but let me tell you, I had a little bit of Mom in me. I go, let me tell you, no is not going to be okay. So I'm going to need you to figure out how to get this approved. So our suggestion, you didn't approve. What do you approve? Because I pay you way too much money.
now you're talking
tell
to the
me no.
engineer you've hired or the city engineer?
The engineer I hired.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're like, figure it out.
Yep, figure it out. So then, it was very silent on the other the phone.
As it often is.
And I kind of looked at Corey. He was sitting in the car with me, looking at Corey, going, "Well, I'm not going to be okay with no. Like, this is clearly what it needs. We're headstrong and going forward." So, hi there. Good to see you. And so.
I saw her walking like forever ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That would be another conversation. But this is very much a very walking community, and then they'll just come here. Yeah.
I mean, she was not on the freeway,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, everywhere is sidewalks. you can get anywhere on sidewalks.
cool.
It's known for that, which is great. But so Corey and I brainstormed and this and that, and I think it was Corey who said, what about us taking over the back parking lot? And I said, it's worth a try. So then we had to go back to the landlord and redraw that option. It had to be approved by the landlord.
Is this Wolverine?
Oaxaca's.
Okay, I knew it was one of them.
Yeah. So then at that point, then we got approved by Oaxaca's, and he was like, Margo, you're going to take over my whole back parking lot? And I said, Nick, I need it. So, hi there. And so then once we got approved by Nick and Oaxaca's, we went to the township, and the township said, cool, thank you for dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's, and then we got to work. So then it was a matter of like, Dunkin' Donuts is over there, Starbucks was opening, we have a Tim Hortons, we have all these other options for people, and I started to panic going, we cannot be closed. We can't be closed because
Right.
if we're closed for 6 weeks, and it's never really what they say, it's never really what 6 weeks, and so we can't be closed for 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 3 months, that kind of thing. And so that's not going to work. So I ended up talking to a few different contractors, and I worked with a contractor that agreed not to close me. We had to brainstorm, and I said, I don't want to close down. I know that there's some things I can't avoid, but I do not want to be closed down.
I mean, for like an afternoon, it's okay, but
Right. So we went through this whole, and we purposely designed it this way to have everything in the back. All of our new things are in the back, so they can work on all of that with a wall up, and not be closed down.
Because your store,
on this side.
your before your counter was like right there.
Over where Rachel is, yep.
Yeah.
And our back wall was that big orange
That
one.
orange wall, yeah, yeah.
And so we would be sitting where like our retail
Yeah.
stuff was. Yep, that's where we're sitting. So I refused to be shut down. I'm like, people will find a different route. People
Yeah.
will find a different routine. I'm not willing to do that. So it was real dusty, and we had pillars on our back counter. We had. It was a mess. Well, I warned them, and we were very open to the public about what was happening. We had pictures up on what was going on. Just
People had to be excited about it though too.
yes, like oh my
That's
gosh,
cool.
that's so great because our lobby was so small, and the drive-through, and so we opened. It's actually
Oh,
been,
look at it, it's like full in here.
Yep. Yes. And I used to panic when people would come in and then have to turn around because all of our tables were full.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
this hurts my soul. Please
Jump
don't
off
go
a
anywhere.
bridge. Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Come back. So it ended up being a few months, but we were closed for 6 hours on the whole renovation. 6 hours. So
That is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Which
That's unbelievable.
Byron Builders. Thank you, Byron Builders. But we had to
Wow.
close early one night because of plumbing stuff. And he's like, Margo.
Yeah.
So it was like we closed 2 hours early. And then we opened 4 hours late the day of opening because of the health inspection. That was it.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. So we worked through the night from shutting down here, and my contractor was here,
See,
staff was here, everything to switch it over the night of.
That is a level of tenacity
Commitment.
that most people don't understand. 20 years operating your own businesses, in the last, 5 to 7? When did you do?
I
when did
opened the
Meyer
Meyer
was old.
store in 2011.
Holy shit, that's been 14 years.
And then
since
I didn't renew my contract, so it closed 10 years later. It was 2021.
Right.
And it was COVID, and
Yeah.
that wasn't.
So you've been through all of that. You've taken over the stores from your mom.
Mm-hmm.
You've obviously worked with your mom and dad forever. You've got your sister involved in the business too. So you've seen a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think when you look at the population of franchise owners and BIGGBY Nation and so on? What are the traits that you see in the people who take the concept, run with it, and build successful businesses and therefore successful lives around the businesses and so on?
That's a great question, because there's not a degree
Right.
Right?
Yeah, you can't go to school and learn how to do
I mean,
this.
you can go to school and get a lot of degrees, but there's not like a, ooh, get this degree and it will assure your success of a BIGGBY franchise.
Well, I just got asked the question the other day because I teach entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
the question was, can you teach entrepreneurship? I'm like, well, you can't really teach it, but there are some overarching lessons.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for is like, what are the overarching lessons
Yeah.
that you would impart to somebody who is thinking about doing this or it's in it right now and maybe struggling?
Yeah. So passion is the first word that comes to mind because I watched my mom from the beginning, and she ran a household and a daycare, in-home daycare, and then she started a preschool, and then she was like, let's run a coffee shop. That's not a resume for owning a coffee shop.
But
Yeah.
one of the most amazing amounts of passion
Correct.
to our world of anybody
So
ever.
she visualized this, she wanted this, she was passionate about it, she loved all of the things about it, even the things she wasn't good at or didn't like, she was passionate about it. So when it comes to that, I think understanding that you might not know the answer and are willing to find a solution. Because people, as the owner, people are like, well, what do you do? And I have no problem turning right back to my staff going, I don't know yet. Or,
Right.
let's find a solution together.
Right.
So not holding all the cards in my own hand, but really counting on my staff and outside people, trying to find the next right thing to do, trying to find a solution, whatever we run into, whether it's staffing, whether it's operational things, running out of product, or something breaking down, or something's dirty, or an upset customer, anything. It can blanket on anything that you don't have to know the answer, but we're gonna find a solution to do whatever's best for all people involved.
Right.
So we just recently had a kind of a customer complaint, and there wasn't really like a perfect solution for it, and my store leader up in St. John's was kind of dealing with it, and I didn't necessarily feel like I had to step in because she was handling it the way I would handle it, but I also have no problem telling her, like, let's handle that differently next time. But she was doing a great job, and we got to the end of the week, well, Margo, this person's really upset with me, or I'm not doing what she wants me to do, and I said, well, we're getting there. She has to know we're trying. She has to know that we have her best interests at heart, and we're getting. So by the end of the conflict, she was thanking us, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, like,
Yeah.
you did what I needed you to do. Nobody had to get mad. Nobody had to get upset. It took.
What
us
was
a
the
second.
issue?
The credit card. This might be a different interview, but the credit card was a shit show. The credit card machine that it charged it twice because something had broke down.
And
so
then the
they,
refund's a mess.
Yep,
And
yep.
yeah.
But it was on a Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, and I'm like, we won't know if it's truly charged twice until tomorrow. We won't know if it's
Right.
like because
Right.
sometimes they catch that, sometimes it glitches and does charge twice. It was charged twice, but I also had to wait 24 hours.
So what was the resolution?
The resolution was refunding her the money that she rightfully should be refunded, but she wasn't happy with the waiting. And I was like, I'm going to wait 24 hours for it to all be processed, and I'm going to wait to make sure that it was.
Was it a big
charged
transaction, or
correctly.
was it?
No, it was $18. But she needed and wanted her $18.
Yeah, well.
Which we can respect that, but also
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
hold up, let's
Gotta
do
verify.
the right way.
So one of the things that, okay, what else? I don't want to lead the answer.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying not to lead the answer. So passion,
Yeah. I think-
commitment to doing what's right.
Yes, and
Wait, no, commitment to finding the solution. That's what you
Correct.
just said. So
and finding the right thing to do. I think that it goes hand in hand. Like, let's find a solution, let's do the next right thing, because what you think is right outside of the situation, until you're in the situation going, I want to do the next right thing, what should we be doing next? So, but also not being afraid to do anything. So if I'm the one cleaning the drains, then I got to be the one cleaning the drains. Or we're short-staffed, and I don't run the line like I used to, but I can make bagels.
You'd be a little gimpy right now.
I feel like I was 2 weeks
It'd be
out.
kind of fun to watch.
I think 3 weeks out, and in my brace behind the counter making bagels, because half day of school here is lined at the door, and middle schoolers galore.
Yeah.
And I was making bagels. Look,
Bagels
crutches
all
on the
day.
side.
Okay, what else? So those two things.
Yeah, and being willing to be wherever you can be to be helpful, because I'm an owner operator that doesn't necessarily work behind the counter. I had to let that go, but I was there at one time, so I can be helpful wherever they need me.
Yeah.
So and not I can't do that. No, if they need me to clean the drains or clean out whatever, then I'll be willing to do that.
With enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Y'all, you have always figured out how to, I think as well as anyone, engage the community.
Yeah.
You didn't mention that, though when I think of you, I think of that.
Yes.
Your birthday performance, I think, speaks to that.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. How'd you do that? You were the single highest volume store in the system that day, right? Isn't that what it was? In St. John's?
So, yeah.
You sold the most.
Hot damn, that was so cool. I had nothing to do with it because I was recovering.
That's
I was at
even
home.
better.
Yes, but also it killed me inside, and I messaged my staff like,
Well, I called you the next day, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
We talked, and you were like, yeah.
it was.
But
it
that's
hurt
even
me
makes
not
it
to-
more remarkable, actually.
Yes. So I think DeWitt and St. John's everything is doubled in St. John's. So whatever we do here, it's doubled in St. John's. If we're 40 bagels here, we're 80 bagels up there. If we're 250
Has
customers,
it always been that way?
since their drive-through, yeah. But we're trying to close the gap with the new drive-through here. But yes, if we're 300 cups here, there's 600 cups up there. So that's just how it's been the last at least 5 years that they've had that open. So, but community-based, we love that people come to us, and I think that shows. And it's required of my staff that people are welcoming for people that come into the store. So when it comes to like catering this or catering that or being involved in this, my staff knows now that if somebody comes to us for a request, we rarely say no.
Right.
They come to us for a $100 check. I don't ever write checks. I don't ever hand them over money. I would love to give you product. I would love to give you a mug. I would love to be a part of this. And
Be engaged, yeah.
Yes, be engaged instead of just writing a check. My upper management now knows that it's not a no, it's a how can we help you kind of thing. So because if they want some sort of product, if they want and they're coming for us for guidance on, we want hot chocolate we just did this year. The principal at the high school called and said they had some issues at the high school and there was some tragedy for one of their own, and he called here, who's actually a DeWitt graduate, and I know him, and he goes, this is what I want to do. I want to serve hot chocolate to all the seniors in the high school. And we were like,
that's nice.
How can we help? And so they figured out how many, they figured out what to make and what to order and when to drop it off and blah, blah, blah. Because if he comes to us and we say, no, that's not going to work, guess what? That's still his idea, and he's going to go somewhere else and find the hot chocolate.
Yeah.
So now my upper management knows that they're coming to you. Let's find the solution. Bye, ladies. Let's find the solution and figure it out, because if we don't say yes, then they'll go someplace else and find the yes. So
right.
we're the yes store. However, we can do it financially, responsibly, and
right.
and that kind of thing. So being involved in the community is huge. When it comes to the birthday, I think people.
How many cups of coffee or cups of hot chocolate did you make that day? Because DeWitt's not a small school.
I would have to ask that, but they have about 250 seniors, and it wasn't just hot chocolate, and they wanted some iced coffee, and I think it was probably right around 200. Not everybody got it,
Yeah,
but
right.
they wanted the option for. So I think it was probably 150 to 200.
That's fun.
Yeah, which is great. And we do senior breakfast, and we actually cater the football games right around the corner. So I think people just know us for that. So when it comes to like celebrating, when it comes to the birthday, it was just, let's do it.
Awesome.
Super loyal, super supportive, and I think they just. I was born and raised in this community, and I have family up in St. John's, and we're just involved in the community. So then when it comes to like being involved in something that was so big, they wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to be a part of it? The St. John's store is phenomenal. They are really good people, and they are really fast, and they do it right, and all those things people love. So
Yes, they do.
So when it comes to like, oh, I can't stop by the St. John's store because they always mess up my drink, or they take too long.
You don't hear that.
That's not a comment.
Right.
Because they get it right and they're super fast.
Right.
So
That location's crazy.
that location is crazy.
Yeah. It's like you almost have. It's like you're gonna drive into it. You know what I mean? When you're driving down the road, it's like.
Yes. That location is phenomenal.
What's your most favorite BIGGBY memory?
I don't know.
There's an answer somewhere.
Favorite BIGGBY memory. I truly loved when my mom was honored.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop crying.
For real. And that's not in the stores, so my brain was thinking like something within the stores, but when she was honored, it was well deserved, and it was well done.
Yeah.
And it just recognizing the passion that she's had since the beginning,
Yeah.
and the reasons why she does the things she does. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, that
and just
was.
to be a part of it, and to be like, I was part of that. I was really, literally a part of it with her from the beginning too. So
Right. Yeah, that was magic.
yeah,
I remember. I knew it was. I mean, I wasn't really involved in the planning of it. I mean, obviously, I knew what was going on and whatever, and so I was super excited for it. And then, I kind of just sat down at some random table to watch, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start crying. And then it was like waterworks.
yep.
It was amazing. Yeah.
And she is not, she would say this about herself too, so I'm not going to get in trouble for saying this, but she is not good at receiving that
Right.
feedback.
Right. No, I knew that wouldn't be comfortable for her.
Really uncomfortable.
We didn't care though.
We didn't care. That's exactly what I was saying. Like, but nobody cared because it needed to happen.
Sometimes-
She needed to hear it.
Well, it was the first ever
Yeah.
Lifetime Achievement Award.
And I think someday I will encourage her to like rewatch it if somebody videotaped whatever. Like, Mom, rewatch that because I think you will be able to take it in differently.
Yeah.
Now that you've stepped away to rewatch it, because she was. I remember her shaking her head a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, Mom, yeah, it's this, not this. Like, take it in, receive that. So.
Okay, so yes, I would. That might be my favorite BIGGBY memory of all time too.
Or when I run into people and I'll say, well, my mom's the Deb Kirchin.
Right.
Depending on how old that franchisee is, because the new ones are like, who?
Yeah, right.
And the other ones are like, oh, your mom's Deb Kirchin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
What was the hardest? Yeah, I'll just ask it. I'm not going to lead it. What was the hardest part of being involved in this for 25 years?
Sounds cliche, but COVID was hard.
COVID was hard. It was external though. Like,
Yep.
so let's go beyond COVID.
Yeah.
Do something else. Because I mean, there's
Things we
nothing
could
we
not
could do.
control.
Yeah,
I think also cliche, staffing is hard. And that's one of the first questions from another small business owner that says, how are you doing on staffing? Because staffing is just so hard. And yes, staffing is hard. Staffing is also what you make it, because it is something you, again, don't have control over, but you also have to be prepared for. And realistically, you can't be prepared for everything.
Right.
So then you're just helping your current staff be prepared for anything.
Right.
So somebody that has been a long-time employee or thinks it's going great, and then all of a sudden they get their dream job and off they go. It's like, you can't blame them for that.
Right.
But also, so I think staffing is continuously hard.
Yeah.
Closing my Meyer store was probably the most emotionally hard.
That sucked.
That sucked, yep. But it also was the right thing to do, which is hard to admit, but also, like, just because it was hard doesn't mean it wasn't right.
Right.
So that was very emotionally hard to let that go.
Yeah.
But then it's just a matter of every day is different. So, like, you run into all sorts of problems, whether it's equipment.
Well, let's go to let's stay on staffing, because you've done a very good job of creating an environment that people want to work in and be here and so on, right?
Yep.
So staffing's not as hard for you as for others.
Perhaps.
I shouldn't say it like that. Staffing's as hard for you as it is for others, but you tackle it in a very different kind of way, I think. And
I definitely have a different perspective on it than most.
yeah.
Yep.
And what is that?
Again, I don't think I have the perfect equation, but I do recognize that we're usually somebody's stepping stone. We're usually somebody's, this will work for now. Transitioning from high school to college, transitioning from sophomore year to junior year in college, transitioning from working mom to part-time working mom. So I very much want them to feel welcomed here. I want them to feel valued here. I want them to feel like they make a difference. They're not just making coffee, right?
Right.
You have the opportunity to make a difference to whoever's walking in our door. And then I want them to feel open enough to recognize when, one, it's time to go, and two, like, not feeling guilty about going. So there's been lots of times where you can kind of feel like when somebody's on their way out, which is way okay, but I also remind them, we need to be the first people you tell when you're looking for another job. And you don't have to be ashamed of that.
Right.
Like, you want to move on to something else, we want you to be okay with that. We want to be excited for you. I just don't want, I've said to a lot of my staff, I don't want to burn any bridges, because I make a really good reference.
Right.
And life happens and you go someplace else, and then I want you to be able to come back if it works for you, kind of thing. So I do hire high schoolers. I think people think I'm crazy about that too. But I also, there's more restrictions, yep. They're a pain in the ass, yep.
Right.
Their schedules, availability is terrible, yup. But also, if I want to be a positive reinforcement for the next generation of the workforce, I have to be part of that. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
That's a great perspective.
yes, and they have to learn somewhere. They're going to be if they're going to be 18 and then have to get a big boy job, and they have no basis of how to actually have work ethic and to be on time and to be
Right.
responsible and to make mistakes and then be okay with it and then come back. And then, so yes, I hire 15 and 16-year-olds.
Yeah, that's, I
And
mean,
some of them are just great, and some of them are like, you tried.
Good effort.
Right. And we actually have had that conversation with people too, like, and they're trying to not get fired, and they're trying to like push through, and this is not the job for you, and that's what we do.
Right.
So let's just be real honest with the whole process of getting a job. You don't like customer service. It's clear. So why don't we find something else?
Yeah. I was really, both my older children, I have a 19-year-old and an 18-year-old, they both got jobs. One was at Zingerman's, and then my son worked at a candy store. And I said, you have a lot to learn, and they both got their jobs at about 16. You got a lot to learn. Take the time to learn it. Bring enthusiasm. But I said the real magic for you as a person is if you can have long tenure.
Yeah.
Because anybody's gonna look and it's like, you worked at a candy shop for 5 straight years, like that.
For real.
It shows well, right?
Yeah.
But like, I definitely know maybe we need to find a different thing for you to do. Yeah. All right. So what else do we want to talk about? That I love prospects calling. One of them was your mother, because she would just lay it out, right? And I love that, right? When we were working with a prospect, it was never about, for us, it was never about selling. It was about vetting and trying to get the right person. Anyway, so how do you engage that conversation?
I think you need to be in it for the right reasons.
Which are?
To love people. And I'm not being cliche there, because we loved people before it was your slogan. But you can't.
It's not my slogan, it's our slogan.
Okay. Okay, co-founder.
I'll include you in that.
But it's yes, you have to make money.
Yeah.
That is essentially important, because else you have to close your doors. But if that is your sole purpose, then you're going to run into more problems than you want.
Okay, yes, and though, what if somebody's doing this to make money to live a super comfortable lifestyle?
Then I have said this to somebody before, it's not going to happen on your first store, and it's not going to happen in the first 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years is even.
Right, and you have to be willing to spend money in order to make the money. And if you don't have the money to spend, then you got no business
Doing it.
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough, that's why I'm a little bit of a different situation, because I was fortunate enough to not start from scratch.
Right.
Because this was we already had the huge loyalty-based customers.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's been helpful, but also I did give a person up in the thumb area a piece of advice, because she was like, well, they really want me to open a B Cubed. And I get it, there is a place and a time to open a B Cubed. But talking to her, hearing why she wanted to open a store, she had no business opening a B Cubed. And I looked at her and I said, why are you opening a B Cubed? And she goes, well, that's what they're telling me to do. And I was like, no, you stick to your guns. And you want, because she wanted
Who
to
was
do it
telling
store.
her to do that? I mean,
whoever, I don't know if it was, I don't know.
I don't think we tell people to do that.
Well, that was her impression. Like,
Sure.
That's
what she was feeling.
Right.
Okay.
So
Fair.
regardless of who it was or what
Right,
words,
right,
but
right.
she was like, a B Cubed, and I go, why are you opening a B Cubed? She goes, well, and maybe it was because of the money. I don't remember all the details, but I said, don't settle on a location just because you want to open the store, because then you're like stuck trying to figure out details of what you're not passionate about. I said, you want a place for people to come and sit and visit and all of those things. And I said, then stick with that.
Right.
And that's what she was passionate about. So can she open a B Cubed? Absolutely. Is that a good opportunity? Sure. But that's not what that was driving her passion to open her first store, to then maybe open something else along the lines.
Yeah.
So
I would struggle. I mean, I would struggle to have a B Cubed as my first store.
right.
I would. And I've said that. I
struggle
love
with
them. I think they're in a certain way, in a certain context.
Yep.
And markets need them.
Yep.
You
Oh,
know.
yeah.
But I mean, it loses all of the sort of magic. I mean, I shouldn't say all the magic because they still are
you
able.
can through the window, but
Right.
it doesn't
Different,
grab
yeah.
it doesn't grab all the people that
Right.
she was passionate about.
Right.
So
Well, I got to tell you. So you mentioned Midland. I came back from that dinner we had, and I
I was spicy that day. Sorry.
So I think I brought it back, and I was like, I was talking to Aaron, and I was like, you need to get to know Margo better, right? And because that. I know you say you were spicy, yes, but like it was.
Come on in.
Yeah, roll right through.
It is not live. It's all good. We're happy you're here, and they'll serve you right up at the counter.
But that's the kind of engagement that I appreciate. It's like, we're just going to go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
There's no need to and that's how I would love to function in the world, like with everybody, is just say it. Just fucking say what's going on, right? And that was, I mean, I enjoyed that, and I want more of that, right? So, like, if you were going to say it to me, Aaron, the team, like, what is it?
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, most likely this isn't going to end up anywhere other than it'll be on the long form, which is good, right? Okay. Okay, good. Go ahead.
Shame on you for not having a home office.
Okay.
People need people. I don't have a solution,
Nah, right.
but there is something to be said and untangible about a community, not through a screen.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of things were out of touch when that disappeared.
Yes. We're working at it, figuring out how to solve it, or how to, because, yeah. I mean, have I told you about Lovejoy? So this summer I bought something that will be a retreat center.
Yeah.
For us.
This has been a long time in the
10 years.
brewing, pun intended, because it's been like
Yeah.
a place for people to.
Yeah. I mean, Bob and I mean, we've been working on it. You know how you work on things? Like, it just.
It's not quite done yet.
That it isn't, but we have the property now. We have the house. There's like 2 houses on it that we can bring people to, and that's one of the ways. Because I agree with you. There's a lot to be said for virtual, but it misses some really big things.
Right, and I'm not saying virtual hasn't worked. There's been a place for it.
Yeah.
Especially recently, and there is still a place for it because I'm a mom of 4, right? So then shit hits the fan with something outside of the store, and I have to be home for whatever reason, and that fills that gap.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so I agree with you on that. We're working on it, ish.
Okay.
Not exactly sure what else.
What
That was a
else?
good one.
I think there is a gap in operational expectations and realistic operational
Experience.
doings.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I mean, we expect something different than what you're able to do.
yeah, because I think the first thing that comes to mind is like when you guys, and I get it. Thanks for coming in. See you later. I said thank you. Have fun.
Sort of.
She feels it. I get it. So the first thing that comes to mind is like it was super overwhelming and really quite frustrating when the blasts came, and it was like, oh, hey, by the way, all of these things are going to be our new line. And I'm like, where the hell are we going to put that? There's a whole another product, and there's another whole recipe, and there's like a few other products that came, NutriBites, like all those things. And we were like, it was a lot of work for my staff.
Figure it out.
Yeah, because we do.
Exactly.
But it was like,
yeah.
Who's deciding
So that
was there anybody in the stores or somebody that said that's a lot of work?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't do something that's a lot of work, but I'm saying were we even considered in that discussion of why we're doing this new thing? Because operationally, that was.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. This is what you have to do now.
Yeah. Do you want to have a conversation? Can I give you our side of the story?
Sure. Yeah.
And when I say our side of the
I'm a
story,
good listener.
I'm talking about Bob's and my side of the story.
Yeah.
So
there's a higher price point, is what I've been told.
Yeah. No, it's well, Dutch Bros. Their single largest category in their stores, according to the CEO in 2023,
Yeah.
is that category.
Yeah.
They introduced it in 2000 and I have to go back and listen to it. 2016.
Okay.
2018.
I don't disagree with that because I have a lot of middle schoolers and it sells really well. It was just when it first came out, we went.
So I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
So we brought it back from Seattle when we were there.
Yeah.
It was the trip that my 19-year-old got run over by a car on a scooter.
Okay.
I was sitting at a bar having a drink with Bob, and I got a call, and he was in the hospital. He got run over by a car.
Yikes.
I can laugh because he was fine.
Yeah, what kind of phone call is that?
Yep.
Holy heavens.
So, and you're in Seattle, what are you going to do, Anyway, so that's why I remember it. So that he was 12, so that's 7 years ago, so that's 2017.
Okay.
And I have to be careful because I don't want to throw our team under the bus, but like we brought it, and we brought it, and we brought it, and we brought it, and it never was grasped. It was a lot of work to put that together. And finally in 2000, what year was that have been? 2000, what year we roll out, 22?
It was real close, it was real close to COVID because we were already semi-drowning.
Yeah, and we were way behind.
Yeah.
Way behind. And so we brought November, I think it was November of 21 maybe. I don't know, the dates are a mess for me, but in November we said it has to be out and launched by June 1st. That's it.
I do feel that.
Hard stop.
Yeah.
And we basically threw the monkey out on the table and said it's got to be done by June 1 and we're out. See you guys. Because that was the only way it felt like it was ever going to get done. Because we had been bringing it.
Right.
And I know you teed off on me in Midland about it. You did, which I appreciated. And
I told you already that it was just a little spicy that day.
and so, but I mean, and I pushed back and said, but you're crazy if you aren't selling the shit out of that, like aggressively.
I think
like
it was a learning curve, and knowing your perspective, I get it, but that's where that gap was. That it was backwards because there was no learning curve to it, and it was like do this and then get used to it, not get used to it.
Oh, I'm not saying we did it right. I'm not. What I'm saying is that's how it went.
Yeah.
And it landed hot. It landed like all over the place.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't have to do that again. But there is a category coming that I have been talking about for over 2 years to franchise owners, to a home office, that we're not getting done. And so it might come like that again, and we have to do it. Like there is just, can you guess what it is?
Nope.
What does the market have that we don't have? I'm grilling you.
I'm not very good at that because I don't get out very often.
Okay. It's protein in the drink.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like a
supplement.
Yeah, but you can't just, protein doesn't work in. You got to develop some drinks for it.
Yeah, like if you go to Tropical Smoothie, you can add, okay.
Or Smoothie King.
Yeah, okay.
Or Scooters, or 7 Brew, right? So, like, we're missing that. And we've been missing it for the better part of 2 years.
You're missing vegan options, too.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah. Are there a lot of vegan people? You're vegan. I always liked you.
Oh, that was terrible. Oh, yep.
I don't have anything against vegans.
Yeah.
I couldn't be one. I don't think I could be one.
They're
But you want to know what my doctor did say to me? There's one way without medication, to actually improve your cholesterol. One way that's proven. That's be vegan.
Yes, eating.
I just don't
Well, so
want
there's
to.
tricky because you can be vegan and eat Oreos because Oreos are vegan. It's plant-based, and you should eat the things that lower your cholesterol.
Yeah.
You can reverse diabetes. You can do all sorts of things. That's another podcast.
We'll do that a different day. We have to have you on our podcast,
All right.
Laura and I.
I like
We have
Laura.
to do that. We got to get that. Me too. We got to get that scheduled. All right.
I also think that often in any sector of business, if you were to be building something out, you have a person that's in charge of everything, a general manager, or what's that when you're a construction manager. Big B doesn't have a build out guru that works hand in hand with franchise owners that have no idea what they're doing, or have no idea on timelines, or have no idea.
Yes, we do.
I did not have one.
Yes. Well, you didn't.
I didn't.
But the
But
solve there is not something you're going to like to hear.
Because it's the AR.
Correct.
Okay, so I get the concept of the AR. The concept, what I think they don't have is, if you are here and you want to open here, there should be a timeline.
Yeah.
There's not.
We spent all day Thursday last week. Erin did.
Great.
So when you were there and asked her about that.
Yeah, because you should have this ordered by this time,
Yeah.
and this month, have that time.
We do.
Well, it
Not
was
for
not
Reno.
acceptable. Right. I will help with that.
All right.
Because that was a shit show.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, so
But also, if
you're
I
right about
wasn't-
that.
If I wasn't experienced
Right.
and know I needed this and that,
Yeah.
then somebody's like, oh shit, then now I have to wait 2 more weeks because we're waiting on this.
Yeah. The system to be implemented by the AR is what we need.
Yep.
And it's not a person, it's a system.
Yep.
And then the AR, experienced people that have built a lot of stores and been involved in a lot of stuff, can help you walk through that system. That's the theory. Theory. And it's good in many, many, many cases. It is.
Yeah. I believe you.
Well, I never expected people like you to love or get the AR system because you don't need it so much, right? So
Yeah, and Alex is what I need him to be. So he isn't pushy on
Right,
things, and
right.
he knows
yeah,
he's not gonna motivate me to, and not that I'm not saying that sounds more kind.
no, I get it. I understand.
But he's not like, oh, Margo, you should be doing this instead.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Well,
do
the
that,
AR
which is
system
fine.
was not.
Yikes.
Shows you how busy I am.
Yeah, you can answer that, and I'm not offended.
No, I mean I've gotten one phone call since
Oh,
I've been here. Right.
you are so important.
The AR system was not developed with you in mind at all, because you don't need it, right? And a lot of our long-standing franchise owners don't like it. They just want to go to the person at the home office that they've worked with for a decade or whatever. And so that transition's a little awkward. But in the end, the theory behind it is sound, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, I just looked at the clock. We've been doing this a while. We've been at it a while.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be like 20 minutes. How long's it been?
Oh, for real?
20-minute clips.
We've been at it over. Okay, well, this is ridiculous. Anyway, it's been great catching up, and I will.
Over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, Jack-
Alyssa's just like.
When are they gonna shut up?
All right, how do we close? What do you want to close with? What are you looking forward to? Other than your leg.
That's so funny. I put this out in the atmosphere just the other day. I want to own Store 5 again. I want that back in the family. Just throwing that out there. Somebody actually was on the phone with somebody the other day, and they go, who owns that? And I go, it's Muhammad. and they're like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, good luck with that, right? But
Well-
hey, I might as well put it out there. And I don't know. I get the question all the time. When are you gonna open your next store? When are you gonna open your next store? I am right where I'm supposed to be, and I know that. So when it comes to like flying under the radar, we talked about that earlier. I've really flown under the radar for a long time, and not that that's bad, but my priority has been something different than building out stores,
Sure.
and I'm okay with that. And I usually tell people never say never, or maybe at a different point in my life. But
We have many thoughts.
yeah, I'm raising humans, a lot of them, and that's really important. And my staff knows that, and so the expectations of what I'm supposed to do next isn't written out because my focus is
Right.
in my own four walls. Not that this isn't important.
I
It is.
understand.
But being able to take care of my own people and then take care of the people inside these four walls, and then the people that come into these four walls. Again.
Yeah.
So what do I look forward to? My options. My options are open, and I don't think they're limited or pushed, or it will, when I want to open my next one, or what happens with me and BIGGBY next. I'm open to, and I'll find out.
Well-
and it will be perfect timing when it does happen.
And let me just say, we as a community, we need more people like you.
Thank you. I want to do what I already have well.
Yeah. And you are.
I feel good about
As
it.
good as I can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
And
thank
it's
you.
fun.
It is. It is.
It doesn't feel like work. Isn't that the goal?
Yeah, we
Don't
live
ask
that
my staff
fortunate
that.
life. No, I know.
Because then they're like,
We live a
doesn't feel
different.
like-
We live a fortunate life, right? Like,
yeah.
like it doesn't feel like work for me
Right.
either. Like, it's the rare day that I wake up and I'm like,
Right.
very rare.
And that's the goal with the staff too. And if they ever, and I've talked to my upper management about that, like if you get to the point where you don't want to come to work, then we need adjustment.
Yeah.
And you need different boundaries, and you need a day off, and something's not right. Let's fix it. So
Yeah.
we have had a handful of those conversations.
Yeah. Thank you.